Hello out there, and welcome back to the American Patriots channel. I've been away for a while, taking care of my elderly parents, but now I'm back, and I couldn't think of a better time to return because there's an important election coming up in just a few days. The title of this episode is, Who Should We Vote For? Once again, we are faced with choices that will determine the course of our nation. There are many that are trying to predict who will win, but the outcome remains unclear. However, there is one outcome that is absolutely certain, and that is who will lose. It is you and me. Americans will lose this election. Think back to the elections of the past. Each time we had hope that if we could elect the right party and the right candidates, then our problems as a nation would be solved. In the last election, there was much hope that the Democrats under Joe Biden would make things better. But have they? Are you better off than you were 2 years ago? Is our nation more united, or are we still significantly divided? Are we safer than before, with crime and gun violence decreasing? Are we better off financially? No, we are not. But then think back to the previous administrations under Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. How well did they serve Americans? At the very core, they should have upheld our fundamental rights as defined by the Declaration of Independence. And I quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." It says that all men are created equal. In fact, the 14th Amendment to our Constitution requires that each of us receive equal treatment under the law. Have any of these administrations afforded our children with equal treatment in the form of an equal chance to succeed in life? If so, then why is it that in America, a child born in the top 20% has a 10 times greater chance to end up in the top 20% than a child that starts out in the bottom 20%? It says that we have a right to life. Quite simply, that means that our government has an obligation to keep us safe. Do you feel safe? What have these administrations done about the threat of climate change? How about crime? Have they projected strength to make the world a safer place for us to live in? Or have they encouraged aggression by appearing weak? Are our unborn children safe? How about those attending school, like Columbine High School, Sandy Hook Elementary, or those in Parkland, Florida, or Uvalde, Texas? And when it comes to pursuing happiness, just how do you think families that are living from paycheck to paycheck are doing in the light of this high inflation and high interest rates? And yet, it is our government that has caused these by their obscene borrowing and spending and that ridiculous Federal Reserve. In just the last 2 years alone, the Fed has printed $13 trillion, and that, my friends, along with excessive government spending, is the cause of this inflation. They are literally driving our country toward insolvency and taking all of us down with them. It has become exceedingly difficult to pay for a college education, to buy a house or a car, to afford health care, to retire, or let alone buy groceries. So forget about pursuing happiness. You won't find it in the poorhouse. Now, don't get me wrong. Our political parties serve the people now and then. It's just that they fall very short most of the time. Why is this? I'm going to let you in on a secret so big that no politician would ever admit that it's true. Our government is broken. Although our political leaders are considered public servants, nothing could be further from the truth. Once they enter political life, they are pressured and coerced to answer to their wealthy donors and yield to the ambitions of their party. Their wealthy donors only want to enrich themselves, and their political party lusts for power and only cares about us when it's time to vote. As a result, the needs of the American people go largely ignored. The pitiful response of our government to the epidemic of gun violence illustrates this all too well. Just this year, there was the Robb Elementary School shooting, which left 22 dead, the Tops Supermarket in Buffalo, New York, where 10 were killed, and the Highland Park, Illinois parade, where 7 were killed and 48 injured. Federal gun control legislation was passed this summer in response to these mass shootings. That legislation did nothing to stop a 19-year-old who just this week brought an AR-15 to a school in St. Louis, killing a 15-year-old girl and a teacher and wounding 7 others. In a recent poll, only 7% said that that legislation will do a lot to reduce gun violence, while a whopping 36% said that it will do nothing at all. When will our government pass meaningful legislation that upholds the rights of law-abiding gun owners while reducing the gun violence that frequently takes so many innocent lives? It will only happen when we free our politicians from the stranglehold that their donors and their parties have on them. Our system of government has proven time and time again that it cannot adequately serve the people, that it cannot even uphold our basic fundamental rights. Its chance to right itself has come and gone. Significant reform is necessary. The Declaration of Independence tells us what we need to do. And I quote, "Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute a new government, laying out its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such a form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness." So when we vote this November, who should we vote for? There are many candidates that are good people, but once elected, they will be entrapped to serve their donors and their party. But then there are the other candidates that are much worse. George Washington described them when he said, However political parties may now and then answer popular ends, they are likely, in the course of time, to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government. At the very least, we need to vote for the former, those whose intentions to serve the people are honorable and true. But candidates who have good intentions are not good enough. Are there any among them who have the courage to declare that our political system is broken? Any who are willing to stand up to the rich and powerful elites and the political parties? Surely, I say to them, show us who you are, and we will support you. I, for one, will fight for equality, justice, and for our rights as American citizens. So how about you? Nothing will change unless we make it happen. Whether you vote for a Democrat, a Republican, or someone else in November, it will not heal our land. Our government will remain broken and not serve the people as it should. If you want America to become great again, a place where our borders are secure, our nation is strong, and climate change is under control, a place where inflation is low, and there is equal opportunity for good-paying jobs and prosperity, affordable housing, health care, and college, and a place where the rates of poverty, crime, and gun violence are much lower, then join the American Patriots, and we will restore our nation together.